It is the perfect time of year to head to Litchfield County. The leaves are turning, the air is crisp, and the vineyards are being harvested to make some pretty awesome Connecticut wine.
I had the opportunity to meet up with a certified wine specialist to take a tour of a great vineyard in Goshen. Take a look. Talk about a bucolic setting. Welcome to Sunset Meadow Vineyards in Goshen. What a great time of the year to take in everything this award-winning vineyard has to offer. I met up with Renee Allen, the founder and director of the Wine Institute of New England, for a grand tour of this beautiful vineyard.
The hills are alive with the sound of pouring wine. Renee Allen, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Scott.
Oh, where are we today?
We are in the Western Connecticut Highlands. We are actually at Sunset Meadow Vineyards, one of my favorite wineries in Connecticut.
This is absolutely stunning. How many?
Stunning.
33 acres?
33 acres of vines.
Oh, my gosh.
Actually, they're growing more than anybody else in Connecticut. So we have a lot to see today, a lot to do. But I want to mention, I'm also excited because Sunset Meadow Vineyards just got selected as one of America's 101 best wineries by the Daily Meal this past summer.
Along the way to our first stop, I can't help but eat some of the grapes, netted and protected from birds, turkeys, and deer. Wow, they are delicious.
All right, Scott, we're going to start our tour where wine starts, and that's in the vineyard.
I love this.
So,
hello.
as I mentioned,
Hi, Scott. Nice to see you.
George IV, he's the man in charge of the vines.
Okay.
We talked about the fact that there's 33 acres of grapes growing here.
Grapes growing for both white and red wines.
And one of the misconceptions about Connecticut wine is that it's all white.
It's all.
Because we have a short season, a cold season, and I want to help bust some myths today with George's help.
George,
so I know that you definitely have red grapes here. Your first grape planted here was red.
Yes, it was.
Tell us
Actually,
about your grapes.
the first grape planted here was actually Cabernet Franc, which is a red grape. We actually have about 14,000 grapes here vines here altogether. So actually 7 varieties of those, of our 14 are actually red.
And you're making both dry and sweet wine?
We are. Primarily a lot of the reds we have are dry, but we do make a sweet red that quite a bit of our grapes, such as the Chambourcin here, go into.
We're moving on.
All right, we've seen the grapes.
We saw the grapes. That's a lot of grapes. So now we need to know, where do the grapes go? They come into the winery, and the man in charge of that is going to be George III, George Motel.
Hello, George.
Hello, Scott.
Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure.
Good to see you, George.
Good to see you again.
And I want to mention that not only is George an owner of the winery and the one making the wine, but he's also president of the Connecticut Vineyard and Winery Association.
Wow.
So in addition to his own wine estate here, he's also looking after the industry as a whole in Connecticut.
Cool.
George describes the machinery used in making and storing the wine.
In the wine business, this is what's known as a crush pad. And this is where we basically process the harvest. We process the fruit that comes in from the vineyards. So we may have 3 or 4 tons of fruit being picked at any one time or more, and it's being brought up here.
The fruit is weighed and then put into this machine.
And this is a crusher destemmer, and this will actually separate the stems and gently crush the grapes.
Cool.
So at that point, you have what's called must. And the must is basically the skins, the seeds, slightly broken. And we transfer it from there, if it's a white grape, into a press.
Okay.
If it's a red grape, into a tank for fermentation. And the reason why there's a difference between the two processes, if you had both grapes, red grapes in one hand and white in the other, and you squeeze them, the juice would be the same color. What gives the red its color is fermentation on the skins. So that's what the difference in the process is. The whites go right to the press, and the reds go to fermentation. They ferment on the skins, they extract the color, and that's where you get the red wine.
Next, we head inside.
So where we are right now is the fermentation room. This is a converted dairy barn at one time, and this is pretty much what it suggests. This is where all the wine ferments, and we control temperature in here. We actually do our bottling in here.
So reds and whites are in here?
Reds and whites are in here.
From here, it's off to the tasting room.
Okay, Scott, so we saw the vineyards, we saw the winery, and now all of that hard work ends up here in the tasting room. It's a family affair here at Sunset Meadow Vineyards. We have Judy Motel, one of the owners of the winery here.
Hello, Judy.
Hello, Judy.
How are you?
Hi. And conducting the tasting is son-in-law Chris Chichester, who's been working here for 13 years.
Helping out, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Chris, nice to see you.
Very nice to see you as well, Scott.
All right, so we're going to taste some.
We're going to taste some wines. Yes, some of what we've seen.
After trying several amazing wines, I have my favorites. The Blustery Blend.
Really nice, soft, lightly sweet finish to it, but crisp fruit all the way through. All grown right on the property. So really nice representation of what we do here in Connecticut.
What they call ice wine is also a favorite.
We make a true ice wine with our Vidal Blanc. So it's a much harder process because we were really hoping that Mother Nature follows suit with getting cold enough early enough. And then we're picking the grapes after they've been frozen on the vines.
Frozen on the vine.
Frozen on the vines.
This dessert wine is a nice way to end the day.
Check into the motel's family business.
Sunset Meadow Vineyards in Goshen, Connecticut.
Happy fall!
What a nice family. For the Vineyard Hours, please head to their website, sunsetmeadowvineyards.com.